Let it go. Let it go.
No, 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 no.
Boy.
First things first, you gotta look for the spark. That bit of magic way deep down in your heart. It's the rhythm that connects us when you find it. Yeah, no, that's a great start. Hey! You gotta follow your beat. And then soon you will see. You won't have that far to go until your song starts to grow. All you need is your beat.
Alright then.
My goodness, there's so much to talk about in this episode.
I mean, the title of this episode is called Growing Pains. We've got some major growing pains here.
We have, three plots going on at once?
And all very significant plots. I don't really know where we start from this. I guess it's better if we unpack the summary of it first. So, the summary of the episode, of course, is Earth Pony Magic becoming a threat? Question mark? Hitch is set on making sure that the Earth Pony Magic is used safely, but becomes blinded by the fact, because he becomes blinded by all the incidents that happen throughout the episode.
Well, we also have Spooky, and, well, I'm kind of glad that he's maturing quickly. He's in, like, a toddler phase, chewing to get his teeth in, so that's interesting, because that's also something that dogs do, that ties back to poor Spike during the turning into a dog. We all know about that.
Yes.
Poor Spike. And also, oh my gosh, Spooky also having some sort of magic resonance with the tree at the end. And Twilight Sparkle is actually here somehow. And Opaline, there's just so much going on.
We see Earth Pony Magic, as we've seen from past episodes, that it strictly involves plant life.
Well, more
go
or
ahead.
less nature, because Hitch is more. He's the only one that can understand animals, so it's more flora and fauna. It's more tied to nature than it just is plants.
Right. For the most part, the other Earth Ponies involved are currently having trouble controlling their magics, and we get the scene earlier on in the episode seeing these pipsqueaks involved with the Earth Pony in the group. Seashell, I believe her name is.
Yes.
The Earth Pony of the group, using her magic, and multiple times throughout the episode we see him getting stuck in the same tree vine.
3 times.
Yes.
Right.
And, of course, immediately when they ask Hitch about Earth Pony magic, they take it out of context, saying that Hitch has approved the use of their magic without restraint.
Like any child would.
True.
You said that I could have a cookie? Eat all the cookies.
Yes. And of course, which it leads to, not complete chaos, but like a step away from complete chaos.
I do think that Hitch kind of had a good way of going about this and trying to figure out everybody's abilities and learning about them, instead of just doing what Sunny was saying, where it's just like, let everybody have fun, yay! It's like, no. We still have to have at least some understanding. even the Pegasi were struggling until Zip helped them learn how to fly. Like, you have to have at least some guidance. You can't just say, go for it. So I think what Hitch was doing was a good approach to trying to figure out how does this magic work. I think he, instead of restricting magic, he should have sort of created boot camps, basically, and be like, okay, let's figure this out, let's do some practice runs, let's learn how to use magic safely, instead of just, oh, you have magic? No.
You said he was trying to collect data.
I personally think that was better than what Sunny was saying, where it's just like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
they both had good points. The thing is, nobody really understands the magic itself yet. Somehow, Sunny seems to understand it better than Hitch, or she believes she does. We see the magic has its own entity in some ways, where at first where the Earth Ponies don't really feel like they have a choice when they use it.
We
Go ahead.
kind of saw that in the last episode, too, where Hitch was forcefully put into a dangerous situation because of his magic to save Izzy when she was falling off her junk tower. So we do know that magic just sort of activates without them consciously making an effort to activate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it's more of an unconscious thing or subconscious thing than a conscious.
And leading into that, we get the ability to see a character that we have yet to see in the series make another appearance. We get to see our beloved Sprout once more.
Which he is living up to his name by being very, very good at growing plants, especially the berry plants.
Oh, indeed. Yes.
Which I don't think we really saw anyone else grow berry plants that big. We saw people in large, already grown fruit, like the banana,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw multiplication of fruit, like the watermelon,
Yes.
but not actively growing a plant to grow bigger berries.
Glitter berries is what I believe they called them.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, you're
Yes.
growing the plant, which grows a bigger fruit.
Mm-hmm. We saw, yeah, like you said, we saw Dahlia, which is the name of the pony that grew the vines in front of Hitch's door at the beginning of the episode, and then once again, she accidentally grew a flower in great number around herself, kind of like a camouflage feature, which she was unfortunately allergic to.
It kind of makes sense that most of the Earth Pony magic is Earth-related, so plant-related. But you can see certain things, like Hitch's seems to have a bit more than just regular, oh, I can grow vines, oh, I can grow a tree, sort of thing. So I wonder if other ponies, like, the base is just growing plants, and then as you get to know your magic, it becomes more specialized.
So everyone is going to have a different specific growing talent, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Where we have Seashell, specifically growing a tree that wraps around other ponies, and then we see these I mean, the one pony just grows a vine, which is not unusual from what we've seen so far. But then, like we said before, we get this one other pony who has the ability to change the color of plants. And, of course, Sprout's ability to supersize produce.
Hmm. So I'm thinking later, as we get to understand Earth Pony magic, we're going to see it become more specialized depending on what pony is growing it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
As they learn how to focus it into their own personality and whatnot.
Of course, focusing, like you said, that leads into what is mentioned later in the episode. Once after the incident at the lighthouse, or what almost was an incident at the lighthouse, they rejoin in town in Maritime Bay, where Hitch says that they need to use their magic as much as possible, but then Sunny also says to let it flow and feel and kind of control it in a
Guide
sense.
your magic was the word.
Guide.
You're supposed to focus your magic and guide it. Focus it on what
Yeah.
you want to do with your magic and guide it into that. That was the what she said.
Which I think kind of tells us a bit about how magic in this world works, because the Pegasi focus their magic into their wings to fly, and the unicorns must focus their magic into their horns to float things. So I guess it's a lot of focus that you actually have to use in magic.
We know that Sunny has the ability to go holographic alicorn, but have we seen her hooves glow at any point yet?
No, not that I know of. Besides just the alicorn glow, but that's more of like a yellow glow instead of a green glow.
I think it's kind of the same thing that since she has the 3 unicorns, I think that her powers may be more kind of like what Twilight was back. I know Twilight was a unicorn for the first 3 seasons of G4, but I think that's kind of what Sunny's role is now, to be the pony in, well, it is, to be the actual main pony of the group, but at the same time, the one that kind of, is the one kind of holding everything together, and she's clearly the most collected of the ponies, and she's the one trying to keep them all together and keep everybody centered on magic, much like Twilight was throughout G4.
It makes sense that she would be kind of the guide for magic because she is the one who has studied it the most.
Right.
Because she didn't fear it when she was a child, so it makes sense that she has some sort of understanding of it. But I think she's being a little too free will with it.
Well,
too trusting.
That was kind of it still kind of points back to like Twilight when she thought, oh, I know all this about magic and I know how it needs to be controlled, and it's the same kind of thing. I mean, I know Sunny's really free will with it here, but she's also trying to keep, she doesn't fear the magic, much like Twilight didn't fear her magic, and she's trying to, keep the ponies to keep control of their magic, much like Twilight was trying to keep all the magic that she had, and everything she said, she's trying to keep everything in control. They're just really a lot of similarities there between her and Twilight. They're both the main pony, which makes sense, but they're also trying to keep control of the magic and not let it get too crazy.
Talking about Twilight, I was actually pretty surprised to see Twilight. I have mixed feelings about that. Like, I kind of just hoped she would be just something from a story and wouldn't actually appeal. I kind of wanted them to just figure it out themselves instead of having some sort of magical guide. Yay, look, it's Book Horse herself.
Well, once again, it's just kind of relating back to Gen 4. Twilight had a guide, so...
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm feeling uncomfortable, is because this is supposed to be its own generation, and I really want it to be its own thing, not just, oh, copy paste this last generation sort of thing.
I'm pretty sure Twilight's going to be the only one that appears. I doubt the other five will make any appearance, which is sad. Beside the movie, that doesn't count. But I think I don't mind it. I understand it's a new generation. These ponies are supposed to do their own thing, but I still like that we can still relate back to at least one character from G4. I really don't. Twilight's not my favorite pony from G4, but she's the main one. That's why they relate back to it. I do like it because I don't know. I just do. It's nice to see Terra again.
I don't know. I feel like I got kind of a Deus Ex Machina sort of thing, where not only did Twilight purposefully seal this, and now she has some explanation for it, but she also understands that Earth ponies are going to get magic, and it's like, oh, how would you have known that? I don't know.
Time spell. Definitely time spell.
I don't like it, personally.
I don't mind it that much. It's not going to make me stop watching the show. It's not going to be like, oh, what the balls. I think some people really hated when Twilight became a princess in Gen 4. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Crystals are acting like something from Gen 4, and I'm not sure exactly what, because I was going to say one thing, but that's not right. Anyway.
Hey, if you recall, near the end of the series, they had to go into Tartarus, I don't want to say it wrong, to confront...
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay. Because they had an item that had magic stored in it.
The Elements of Harmony, that's close I can rate it to.
I know this is kind of a nitpicky thing, but Twilight in this almost looks like before she was ruling Equestria, Alicorn.
We did see near the end, the very end of the last episode of the series, we saw her in a more mature state, along with everyone else, like they had aged at least 10 plus years. And she was already taller than Luna in that state. So
Yeah.
The way they designed her here, would make her look and would make it seem like that particular incident that she's discussing here happened, but in that short period of time.
Yeah, I would have liked to see her more legal. I don't know. I guess that also ties eventually back to Sparky.
Give or take. But the Sparky is the fact that she was able to store magic in these because Opal was planning on stealing the magic. Stealing the magic is something that Lord Tyrek was notorious for. Somehow Opaline has the same ability as Tyrek, based on what Twilight is saying here.
Discord also was able to steal magic when he teamed up with Tyrek.
But that was only because of the bell. The bell of Grogarth, or whatever his name was.
No, I'm saying when Tyrek first appeared. Discord was sort of a neutral character, and so he just sort of was playing along with Tyrek for a little bit and was helping him steal magic, right?
Right, but Discord didn't steal the magic himself. It was all what Discord did was lure ponies to Tyrek while Tyrek was in a weakened state. And it allowed Tyrek to get strong enough to be able to go and absorb the magic himself.
Oh, okay. I'm just misremembering. Do you think that we're going to see Tarek, Cozy Glow, and Chrysalis in this new world?
That was another theory I had, was that Opaline was somehow related to Cozy Glow, but I immediately dismissed that fact because even though it was a short conversation, she didn't mention any other enemies from the past here. Twilight, that is. She specifically mentions Opaline. She doesn't mention, like, other enemies. She just says Opaline herself. Somehow...
I'm saying, like, maybe after the arc with Opaline, do you think possibly down the villain line we will see those three again?
I'm not, me personally, I'm not trying to down it, but we may see them, but I don't think I think it will be more of a kind of an indirect mention. We actually won't see them come back, but either Opaline will at some point get enough, which I know she has some magic, but not as much as some of the other ponies. But I feel that if those are coming back, it will be more of a either just a mention of them, or possibly in a kind of a lesser state than what they had as a pinnacle in Gen 4. They won't be as high up as they were in Gen 4, main character, top of the food chain kind of a deal. I still think that Opaline here will still be at the top regardless. And like I said, personally, if those three, or any of them, if we go to things like King Somber or anything like that, I think those ponies would kind of be in still those characters, not ponies, but those characters, if they're in any state, they won't be as powerful as Opaline. Their powers may be a bit diminished. I'm not sure, but I feel like, kind of like what you said, were kind of nitpicking about Twilight being in this, and it should be the new ponies. I feel that Opaline should be the main bad guy, and that should be it. Any of her forces of evil should be new characters, but that's just me. They could, if the old characters come back, that's fine too.
Sparky's magic is all over the place, from what I've seen.
It's more than what we know Spike could do.
Yeah, Spike didn't really have magic. He was good at making, confectionaries and cupcakes and whatnot. He was good at that. He also had a very kind of epic memory because he knew where everything in the library was. He knew where he could remember exactly where everything is. But yeah, Spike didn't really get much magic until much later in Gen 4. I think Season 7 was when he finally grew his wings. I never really saw Spike exactly like Sparky at all. Although it's kind of funny how the names kind of fit almost close to each other. But yeah, I mean, Sparky's got magic that just is left, right, up, down, sideways, slantways. It's just, like Copper said, all over the place.
Yeah, Sparky has some sort of chaotic magic going on. But Spike used to have a magic where he could teleport things, basically. So he was used as a messenger quite a bit.
Right.
Sparky was born from basically Hitch's magic and seems to somehow resonate with it when he grows the tree and resonates with the tree, but is interrupted. So Sparky and Hitch have a very close connection magically, obviously.
Yeah, I want to see what happens with this tree because it's reminded me of the Tree of Harmony now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
Because, I mean, we know why the tree was grown in the first place was to stop the giant. Said it was called glitterberry, right?
Yeah. No, that was fruit. But something, this little gesture right here, Sparky is waving to the tree.
Or reaching out like he wants to touch it again.
I'm pretty sure that Sparky has some connection with the tree. He knows in his young mind, because although Sparky is speaking in the toddler voice, he doesn't really say truthful word. Because, I mean, Hitch understands him just so little compared to other animals. But I feel that Sparky knows all about the tree, and he could be, like when he used the magic there where he puts his own into the tree, that he knows all about the tree, he knows what it's for, what it's about, and he could actually, his magic could resonate with the tree, and they have a sort of connection.
Yeah, because rather this tree being grown just from random Earth Pony plant magic, it was grown from the main 5, unifying all of their magics into one.
Right.
I would like to think that Sparky is going to mature throughout the show and become the 6th member of the main 6.
I sure hope so.
So that they still sort of follow the 6 harmony pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Sparky has a lot of potential, and I'm really hoping that they actually use that potential instead of just keeping him as a baby dragon, like, unfortunately, Spike was.
Yeah.
I hope Sparky is going to be some sort of key for them to help understand the elements of harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to be able to either activate the crystals so that they can talk to Twilight more, or at least understand the elements through the crystals, or he'll be able to talk to this new tree that could be a new tree of harmony and explain in a way the pieces of the harmony. I really want Sparky to not just be a baby dragon the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
and following in the same footsteps as the generation before it. I do really hope that if they do go down the road of the elements having to have 6, it's characters that we've had basically the whole time and not just introduced.
Right. I'm not denying that Sparky is going to play a significant role here, but in order for there to be balance and quote-unquote harmony, there would need to be equal magic from all 3 pony tribes, as we'll call them.
Yeah, and that works with, I believe Missy, because I believe Missy is a unicorn.
Mhm.
Yeah, she is.
And as she is, that would work on that side. She could practically become a Starlight Glimmer, more or less.
She's not really a villain, from what she's just
She's
in
a henchman.
she's in an abusive relationship.
She's a henchman.
Yes. She has
But,
more
yeah.
fear for Opaline than anything else.
Right.
I've kind of liked the dynamic of the 5, but I understand if they do follow in the footsteps of 6 ponies and a dragon.
Right. The main 5, I mean, they came together just about in the same amount of time it took for the main 6 to come together. The main 6 came together in a 2-part, 40-minute episode.
I feel a little uncomfortable adding a 6th at later on, is because the main 5 came together
Mm-hmm.
in one movie, basically, as well as I know I'm comparing when I said I didn't want to compare the different generations, but it's kind of hard not to. When the generation before this put them all together in basically, like you said, an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, adding a sixth kind of makes it feel, okay, we haven't had a dynamic with these guys already. They haven't already been working off each other and building relationship. Kind of feels weird. But again, we'll see what happens. We'll see how well it turns out. I know I sound like a horrible pessimist. But no, I'm actually very excited, and I really wanted to see where this all goes.
Yeah, me too.
We know that the magic is getting stronger. We know the magic is changing. And we know there is still so much more potential in the growth of the show itself. Izzy is left babysitting Sparky and goes full on, let your spirit run free. I mean,
Piggy pie.
yeah,
Piggy pie and the cakes.
she was definitely unbound with Sparky. Granted, she was a free spirit before, but it was like she was like super hyped up in that moment.
So, from what I saw from that, is it was just reflecting the main story, where, oh, stop suppressing this magic, let it go, kind of. Basically, I saw it as just a mirror of like, okay, this is where the story's going to have to go, because it's being reflected in this way. But this is not a good lesson to teach children. Don't teach them to just rampage and destroy everything, especially if they're babysitting. Like, it could have been a good lesson to be like, okay, learn it from one perspective. Too much control can be harmful, but from another perspective, it could have been too free-spirited can be harmful as well. So learn to balance it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they didn't do that with Izzy and Sparky.
Yeah, too much is. Oh, that's already. Too much control is Hitch as a helicopter dad,
Mm-hmm.
and too little control is like Izzy, and you gotta have a balance. Hitch is too controlling. I understand, baby Sparky, but yeah, what Izzy says here after all that happens, that should never happen to a parent. A parent should never do that. Do that again, but let me videotape.
Yeah, I mean, even babysitter should do that.
That is a bad idea.
Like, I was half expecting Sparky to, like, get sick because he ate a bunch of cookies and then he ate an ice cream and he's been running around making himself feel sick. I thought Izzy was going to learn, oh, too much freedom isn't good either.
Mm-mm.
And so that would have balanced out the lesson. But because that didn't happen, it feels like the lesson is half taught.
Parents need to have boundaries, and at the same time, they need to let kids express themselves. There needs to be a happy medium there. Otherwise, the kids will either become cloistered or they'll become spoiled.
Even the office just magically getting cleaned up, either by Kenneth or just Sparky's magic.
Mm-hmm.
There could have just been a lesson there too, like, oh, Izzy, you made a mess. Let's clean. Can you help me clean this up? You know, you let him run too free. You have to clean this up as basically punishment. Like, even that would have been at least something to bring it back. Oh, too much freedom is bad. But not even that. No negative side effects for letting a child become a brat.
No, she just literally says that she ditched all the rules.
Yeah.
That's not a good lesson.
Again, if a babysitter did this, they would be fired.
Probably more than that. But yeah.
for everything that was in this one, we didn't get a musical number. So it was hard to, judge this specifically on music. We didn't get any kind of a song in this one. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. So I have to judge it specifically on the storyline, character growth, and the overall plot. This one in particular, I'm going to go about a 7 on this one.
Yeah, I'd say probably close to a 7 as well. I think they got really close to telling a really good story and lesson, but they were just slightly off. But it was better than the episode before. It wasn't so cluttered as the episode before. So I do appreciate that even the side stories are tying into the main story to tell the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it just one step better and call it an 8 out of 10. I know I'm kind of probably in the wrong there, but also I really wish there had been a musical number besides just the theme songs. But I think just because of where we're at chapter 2, we're still getting more character development with our main group of ponies. Also, just seeing this again, watching it, we're kind of getting more to how I like making comparisons between Gen 4 and this one. And, seeing more comparisons between the two and getting to characters that we have seen prior and getting them built a little more. Like here with Sprout, especially, that was a big one. Saw a little bit with Jazz Hose there with when she was with Pip, and the Pipsqueaks being like the Cutie Mark Crusaders. I like, yeah, and I'm really hoping that as they go on, like you said before, things just keep getting more. We kind of learn more. I'd really like to learn what the other two ponies that are with Seashell are named, but that's for a later date, I'm sure. But I think the story was good, like you said, with character development, still building on the characters and adding more depth to them than just with one episode and the movie, the two-parter movie, short film. I really enjoyed being able to learn more about them. So I thought the story was good, and adding new elements such as Sparky's magic, this tree that we think may be a new tree of harmony, and just I also like that we all in this one, when they joined hooves more or less, we actually got to see the cutie marks much clearer than we usually do. So I'm happy we're up to that point, and I hope episode 3 will have a musical number besides the theme song, because that's something that I think drew most of us to season 4 was all the music that they had. But yeah, overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Fair enough. Well, you heard it here, folks. The Omega Republic's Pony Review crew once again challenging the masses and reviewing what has been brought to our eyes. We hope to see you here next time on the Omega Republic's Pony Reviews on Make Your Mark. Once again, I am Coppercap.
I am Mountain Soul.
And I'm Cosmic Bros.